We back learning and go to work. That part right there. About to work on learning about Article 6 in the 2012 version of the Charter City of Compton in California, right here. So, oh, before I do that, let me do this. Let me see if you can see about this. Shirley N. Weber, Dr. Shirley. Let's see. Because the last time I said that we're going to go over a couple things that I was interested in to see from when we read about Article 5. Absolutely. All right. So we'll go back here. So definitely, yes, we can see who the California Secretary of State. I could technically type in 2022 and make sure. Again, this is a working show and looking to learn together, as I'll put in the description as well. All right, it said that it's been moved right there, but I lay so on the book. Let's see if you could see that real quick. 2022. Right, Secretary of the State of California. Okay, real quick, and then I already those other. Yes, she is absolutely. That's right. So okay, I've already put these other tabs up here too, in relation to what we were talking about last time, and that is great. You could see that Chapter 6, election procedure. So I just looked up. I was looking for elected and qualified, and this site came up. So we do want to know about the codes, and it says here new laws. It says 0 right there, and there's a plethora of information here that you can go to. So I'm going to put that link in the comment section afterwards too. All right. Okay, moving forward, going to the amendment summary. We were wondering, or I was wondering about the Constitution of the United States. I said that tomorrow, which is today, that we would revisit the Constitution of the United States. So going here, Amendment 1 through 27. Okay, and then we have a lot of, over the past 2 years, we've been talking a lot about the voting rights here. That's the 15th Amendment. All right, and let me go to the next one. I looked up Voting Rights Act of 1965, and of course, this came up first. They must have a lot of analytics in their page and so forth. So, believe one of the words, absolutely disparate. It was. Let me make sure. Let's go here. Disparate. We want to say this word, enunciation or pronunciation. We could say absolutely
disparate.
Okay, and the definition I found was here, that it means essentially different in kind, not allowing comparison. And then I see somebody ask, what does disparate mean? And it said markedly distinct in quality or character. So when those of you that have been watching the news or different voting rights videos and so forth, when they said that, that's in this area on this, summation site. It says the ruling interpreted the totality of circumstances. Language of Section 2 to mean it does not generally prohibit voting rules that have disparate impact on the groups that it sought to protect. So it doesn't have different, if we want to use a synonym. All right, so that was a recap from yesterday. I was about to say last night. All right, which is true. Today is now Saturday, March 5th, and going back here to the 2012. Yes, I do want to share 2012. I was just getting out of those other tabs there, but definitely thank you again for learning with me. This is pretty cool. All right, so going forward, Article 6 of the Charter of the City of Compton. This is still the last version that I've seen. If somebody has a more current version, this one's 2012. All right, reading Article 6, it says the City Council, Section 600, presiding officer, mayor. Make sure you can see that. The member of the City Council to be nominated from the city at large and to be known as the mayor shall be the presiding officer of the City Council. The mayor shall have a voice and vote in all its proceedings. It says he shall be the official head of the city for all ceremonial purposes, and he shall perform such other duties as may be prescribed by this charter or as may be imposed by the city council consistent with his office. So just like actor, that word is used in lieu of saying actress or an actor. So, but this could be amended too. All right, section 601. That's in my opinion. Powers vested in city council. All powers of the city shall be vested in the city council, subject to the provisions of this charter and to the Constitution of the state of California. It shall be the duty of the city council to enforce the provisions of the charter. Section 602, interference in administrative service. Neither the city council nor any of its members shall order or request, directly or indirectly, the appointment of any person to an office or employment or his removal therefrom by the city manager or by any of the elected officers or other department heads in administrative service of the city. Except for the purpose of inquiry, the city council and its members shall deal with the administrative service under the city manager solely through the city manager, and neither the city council nor any member shall give orders to any subordinates of the city manager, either publicly or privately. Section 603, regular meetings. The city council shall hold at least 4 regular meetings each month, at such times as it shall fix by ordinance or resolution, and may adjourn or re-adjourn any regular meeting to a date certain which shall be specified in the order of adjournment, and when so adjourned, each adjourned meeting shall be a regular meeting for all purposes. Section 604, special meetings. Special meetings may be called at any time by the mayor or by 3 members of the city council in accordance with and pursuant to the procedure set forth in state law for the calling and conducting of special meetings. Okay. Section 605, place of meetings, except to the extent otherwise permitted or required by this charter by ordinance of state law. All meetings of the city council shall be held in the council chamber of the city hall or in such place within the city to which any such meeting shall be adjourned and shall be open to the public. If by reason of fire, flood, or other emergency it shall be unsafe to meet in the places designated, the meetings may be held for the duration of the emergency at such place as is designated by the mayor, or if he should fail to act, by 3 members of the city council. Section 606, quorum. Proceedings. 3 members of the city council shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a less number may adjourn from time to time. In the absence of all the city council from any regular meeting or adjourned regular meeting, the city clerk may declare the same adjourned to a stated day and hour. Notice of such adjourned meeting shall be given or may be waived in the same manner as specified in this charter for the giving or waiving of notice of special meeting of the city council. The city council shall judge the qualification of its members as set forth by the charter and shall judge all election returns. That was something else that I took notes on the last time. And again, that word qualifications, to be qualified. There was a section here. There was a section that discussed. I found it to mean the qualifications, like if they are residents of the city of Compton, and those are the qualifications, not anything else about like background, jobs, or anything like that. So what makes a person qualified to be in office, maybe that's going to come up, like the criteria more in detail, maybe that's going to come up further. We're literally learning this together because I have other things to do during the daytime, but this is important to me that, again, I said I was going to be back here today. So I'm here today. I didn't have time earlier today to read ahead and so forth. So we are literally learning together, reading this together. And thank you again. All right. So moving forward, and people talk about accountability. So yes, this is one way to do it. Read live. Look, study live, learn live. Absolutely. All right. So moving forward, the city council shall judge the qualifications of its members as set forth by the charter and shall judge all election returns. It may establish rules for the conduct of its proceeding to maintain the orderly conduct of meetings. Each member of the city council shall have the power to administer oaths and affirmations in any investigation or proceeding pending before the city council. The city council shall have the power and authority to compel the attendance of witnesses, to examine them under oath, and to compel the production of evidence before it. Subpoenas may be issued in the name of the city and be attested by the city clerk. Disobedience of such subpoenas, that's funny, subpoena. Oh my gosh, on the refusal to testify upon other than constitutional grounds shall constitute a misdemeanor. Those of you that know that I'm a comedian. If you don't know too, I'm a comedian too. Okay. Shall constitute a misdemeanor. So that I'm just saying that I'm making a connection to something I would say and have said on stage as a comedian as well. All right. And rereading this last sentence. Disobedience of such subpoenas or the refusal to testify upon other than constitutional grounds shall constitute a misdemeanor and shall be punishable in the same manner as violations of this charter are punishable. The city council shall cause the city clerk to keep a correct record of all its proceedings, and at the demand of any member or upon the adoption of any ordinance, resolution, or order for the payment of money, the city clerk shall call the roll and shall cause the ayes. I want to say ayes. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yes. And no's taken on any question to be entered in the minutes of the meeting. That was new to me. Okay, hold on. Listen. Church say amen. Okay, look. It says
I.
The ayes, as I said, but one thing, this AY, you can rap with a lot of words with AY. Again, let me say this word. Ayes is plural. An affirmative answer or assent, especially in voting. All right?
I.
Does everyone say aye? Everyone say no? Or do we have a vote? And we talked about that yesterday and research some information if there's a tie. So please review the video from yesterday. Maybe just listen to it. You don't have to watch me read. You can just listen to it if you're very interested. All right. So at the same time, this is a real live homework session that I have to do, that I want to do on my own. I don't have to do this. You understand? And I'm not getting paid to do this, obviously. So let's say here that under section 607, it speaks of adoption of ordinances and resolutions, which this charter has been talking a great deal about prior to Article 6, Section 607. All right, with the sole exception of ordinances which take effect upon adoption, hereinafter referred to, no ordinance shall be adopted by the city council on the day of its introduction, nor within 5 days thereafter. One more time. If you've been to any of the meetings, you might want to reread. With the sole exception of ordinances which take effect upon adoption, hereinafter referred to, no ordinance shall be adopted by the city council on the day of its introduction, nor within 5 days thereafter, nor at any time other than at a regular or adjourned regular meetings. That right here, in my suggestion, would need to be revised only because it's not even a double negative. It's a little bit more than that, because there are 3 different nor. No. So does it, because we put some math in here, does this become a positive sentence? And then is that why sometimes new business or new ordinances can come into effect the day of? Interesting. Let's see. At the time of adoption of an ordinance, it shall be read in full, unless after the reading of the title thereof, the further reading thereof is waived by motion of the city council, regularly made and approved by unanimous consent of the councilman present. At the time of adoption of a resolution, it need be read in full only if, after reading of title thereof, the further reading thereof is requested. In the event that any ordinance is materially altered after its introduction, the same shall not be finally adopted except at a regular or adjourned regular meeting held not less than 5 days after the date upon which such ordinance was so altered. So, based on time constraints, we've heard in various meetings, if you attend a plethora of meetings, professional developments and professional meetings or meetings anywhere, most often people don't want to listen to the document. But look at that. Let's reread what it just said. In the event that any ordinance is materially altered after its introduction, how would you know if it wasn't read aloud? When do you get a chance to see the document? How would you know if it was altered or not? So that's what I'm thinking, just to think aloud. All right. So I'm going to reread the sentence and continue. In the event that any ordinance is materially altered after its introduction, the same shall not be finally adopted except at a regular or adjourned regular meeting held not less than 5 days after the date upon which such ordinance was so altered. The correction of typographical or clerical errors shall not constitute the making of an alteration within the meaning of the foregoing sentence. No order for the payment of money shall be adopted or made at any other than a regular or adjourned regular meeting. Unless a higher vote is required by other provisions of this charter, the affirmative votes of at least 3 members of the city council shall be required for the enactment of any ordinance or resolution, or for the making or approving of any order for the payment of money. Emergency ordinance. Any ordinance declared by the city council to be necessary as an emergency measure for preserving the public peace, health, or safety, and containing a statement of the reasons for its urgency may be introduced and adopted at one and the same meeting if passed by at least 4 affirmative votes. So, what is an emergency measure for preserving the public peace, health, or safety, and containing a statement of the reason for its urgency? So we want to see what that emergency ordinance would be. That's good. All right, section 608, Ordinance, Enactment. In addition to such acts of the city council as are required by this charter to be by ordinance, every act of the city council establishing a fine or other penalty or granting franchise shall be by ordinance. We looked up ordinance before, so I'm thinking if I'm thinking it, somebody else is thinking it too. Why not review this ordinance word in more detail, or just review? A piece of legislation enacted by municipal authority. A city ordinance banned smoking in nearly all types of restaurants. In a simple definition here, also put differently, an ordinance is a local law. Usually, ordinances forbid or restrict some type of activity. All right. Now, going back here. So, section 608, Ordinance, Enactment. All right. So, in addition to such acts of the city council as are required by this charter to be by ordinance, every act of the city council establishing a fine or other penalty or granting franchise shall be by ordinance. All right. So who develops, or how are ordinances developed? Created, developed, timelines, and so forth. Okay, so moving forward, it says here, section 609, but before that, the enacting clause of all ordinances shall be substantially as follows. The city council of the city of Compton does ordain as follows. We need that information when you write that, okay? Section 609, Ordinance, Publication. The city clerk shall cause each ordinance or a summary of the ordinance to be published at least once in the official newspaper within 15 days after its adoption. I do want to become a lawyer. I've been to school, so I think I really want to go back. All right, so let's see. Section 609, Ordinance, Reviewing, Rereading, Publication. Because I love this. The city clerk shall cause each ordinance or a summary of the ordinance to be published at least once in the official newspaper within 15 days after its adoption. Okay, a summary of the ordinance need include no more than a brief description of the subject matter of the ordinance, the names of the council members and how they voted on the ordinance, a statement that the full text of the ordinance is available at no charge from the office of the city clerk, and the telephone number of the office of the city clerk. Like they say, some things are not new under the sun. So some of the things that I'm thinking, other people have to be thinking as well. So yeah, I'm thinking it's not always the same, but like I preface it, they say that there's nothing new under the sun. So this is interesting information here. Section 610. Codification of ordinances. Any or all ordinance of the city which have been enacted and published in the manner required at the time of their adoption, and which have not been repealed may be compiled, consolidated, revised, indexed, and arranged as a comprehensive ordinance code, and such code may be adopted by reference by the passage of an ordinance for such purpose. Such code need not be published in the manner required for other ordinances, but not less than 3 copies thereof shall be filed for use and examination by the public in the office of the city clerk prior to the adoption thereof. Ordinances codified shall be repealed as of the effective date of the code. Subsequent amendments to sections of the code shall be enacted in the same manner as herein required for the amendment of ordinances generally. Okay, and such code need not be published in the manner codify, because I'm thinking the root word codify, but most of the time we use that. It seems like with young people. So it's another definition here or something. Okay, so it says Verdi helped codify an international operatic culture. Arrange laws or rules into a systematic code. Yes, because you want to start getting things in us. Teaching children at least systematic approaches. That's where I got that from. All right, so let's see. The statutes have codified certain branches of common law. Okay, so exactly. That's funny, raising children and working with children. There's common law. Absolutely. So you want to work with the systematic approaches. It helps with organizing information, arranging order. Okay. So very good. Okay. Let's see. Moving forward. Section. This last paragraph before section 11. It says here, detailed regulations pertaining to any subject such as the construction of buildings, plumbing, wiring, or other subjects which require extensive regulations after having been arranged as a comprehensive code may likewise be adopted by reference in the manner herein above provided. Detailed regulations pertaining to and any subject such as the construction of buildings, plumbing, wiring, or other subjects which require extensive regulations. Extensive. That's I'm looking for. Extensive regulations on the construction of buildings, plumbing, and so forth. Okay, section 611, ordinance. When effective, no ordinance shall become effective until 30 days from and after the date of its adoption, except the following, which shall take effect upon adoption. Okay, because earlier here it talked about 5 days, something. Let's see. And then this was the city clerk. This was about publication right there. This ordinance was dealing with enactment. Okay, so they have their different, what do you call them? Subheadings. It's like subheadings to me. Okay, so now this one just says ordinance when effective. Now we're talking timeline. So no ordinance shall become effective until 30 days from and after the date of its adoption, except the following, which shall take effect upon adoption. A, an ordinance calling or otherwise relating to an election. B, an improvement proceeding ordinance adopted under some law or procedural ordinance. C, an ordinance declaring the amount of money necessary to be raised by taxation or fixing the rate of taxation. Or D, an emergency ordinance adopted in the manner herein provided. Okay. All right, section 612, ordinance, violation, penalty. A violation of any ordinance of the city shall constitute a misdemeanor and may be prosecuted in the name of the people of the state of California, or it may be redressed by civil action or administrative action. The maximum fine or penalty for any violation of a city ordinance shall be the maximum fine or term of imprisonment or both authorized by state law. So 612 there could be the people of the state of California, maybe redressed by civil action or administrative action. Three things. Section 613 says ordinance. Amendment. The amendment of any section or sections of an ordinance may be accomplished solely by the reenactment of such section or sections at length as amended. Section 614, publishing of legal notices. I was still just thinking about the ordinance. I wrote down my notes. How or where are they created, developed? And I wanted to know about being developed. So that means technically the word should be amended. And then timelines. It'd be nice to have like a chart. Section 614, publishing of legal notices. In the event that there is more than one newspaper of general circulation published in the city council shall annually publish a notice inviting bids and contract for the publication of all legal notices or other matter required to be published in a newspaper of general circulation in the city during the ensuing fiscal year. In the event there is only one newspaper of general circulation published in the city, then the city council shall have the power to contract with such newspaper for the printing and publication of such legal notices without being required to advertise for bids. Therefore, the newspaper with which any such contract is made shall be designated as the official newspaper for the publication of such notices or other matter for the period of such contract. In no case shall the contract price charged for such publication exceed the customary rates charged by such newspaper for the publication of legal notices of a private character. Unless otherwise required by this charter or law or ordinance, the city council may employ other means of publication in lieu of newspaper advertising. In the event there is no official newspaper designated by the city council, then unless otherwise required by law, all legal notices or other matter may be published by posting copies thereof in at least 3 public places in the city designated by ordinance. So what are those 3 places that may be utilized right now? That's a question. Let's see. In the event there is no official newspaper designated by the city council, then unless otherwise required by law, all legal notices or other matter may be published by posting copies thereof in at least 3 public places in the city designated by ordinance. Okay. So no defect or irregularity in proceedings taken under this section or failure to designate an official newspaper shall invalidate any publication where the same is otherwise in conformity with the charter or law or ordinance. So, section 614. discusses publishing. Okay, legal notices. So those legal notices would constitute. What are some examples? This would be neat to have that in maybe like a charter supplementary document where it would have different charts, and it would be, for what they say, layman's terms, to help people that are not into the legalese or yes, in the legalese. So at any rate, all right, so we did some homework today. We'll pick up with section or article 7 and section 700 tomorrow. All right, thank you for tuning in and learning with me. Let's go to work. Absolutely. I'll play this commercial. Why not? We want to grow together, learn together. This is all in love, so we can progress, and learning is love, in my opinion.